And I'm also joined by Wadi Gaitan from the Republican Party of Florida. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much.
Good morning,
Good
morning.
A lot to talk about here. Felix, let's start with you. You're a prosecutor. So I have to ask, isn't it the jury's job to decide if there was criminal intent?
Well, it's really the prosecutor's job to figure out whether or not they have enough evidence to bring charges. The standard, as we know, for a jury is to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So as prosecutors, we have to look at all the elements of the crime for which we're going to bring before get to the jury process. Director Comey is a former federal prosecutor. He did a very good job of kind of explaining and breaking it down, a very, very complex legal issue. One, there was a whole issue about gross negligence, which people, flocked to. Clearly, she was careless. Careless does not mean necessarily negligent. So he kind of shied away from that angle and looked at another statute that deals with a willful and knowingly component of whether or not she acted in disseminating the emails and whether or not the emails were transmitted outside of the secure location. So it's a very, as I've used this term a lot lately, razor thin standard he had to go by, but he had to walk a very fine line in terms of what evidence was there. Was there clear evidence of intent? He said there wasn't, and it basically comes down to those three emails that you mentioned in your open that had the C in the body of the email out of the 30,000 that were released and turned over.
Absolutely. Wadi, let me ask you, I feel like even before this announcement this week that Republicans had their mind made up, Democrats might have had their mind made up, but even after this, this still continues to be a point of contention, especially as we head into November.
It does, for sure, because what we do know is that what the FBI laid out, it was a clear indictment on her judgment, on the extreme carelessness that was a culture creator of extreme carelessness at the State Department. That is something that is very important. Also, something that was very clear is that in this whole process, Hillary Clinton had come out with statements explaining, saying that she only used one device, saying that she did not send any classified information. But now we know that that was a complete contradiction to the truth, that the FBI did lay out that she had multiple servers, multiple devices, and that there was a lot of content that was classified, some even at the top secret level. And that is very concerning, not only the actions that she took during her time, but that afterwards she has not been honest with the American people.
Absolutely. Felix, you said of the Clinton interview with the FBI that it wasn't done under oath, and as a prosecutor, is there an
There may be an issue if they're going to prosecute her for perjury now, because when you go after someone for perjury, we have her statements under oath from the congressional hearings related to Benghazi. You saw a lot of the congressmen really grilling Comey on whether or not did she commit perjury, saying she did not send or receive classified information. So the fact that you have her locked in on one statement in those Benghazi hearings, but then for whatever reason they did not Mirandize her or put her under oath, when not even Mirandize her, but just put her under oath at least for the sworn statement that she gave to law enforcement, that's a bit unusual. And so when you're looking at whether or not she sent or received classified information, I think you made a very good point about it's going to come down to whether or not she knew what was classified versus what it wasn't classified. And Director Comey laid out a lot of information about the classification system. There were emails that had classified information in them. Those emails, when they got them from Hillary Clinton, they sent them to the respective departments, and then they were up classified after the fact. Hillary's going to make the argument that they were not marked classified, therefore she's going to say her statement's true.
Absolutely. I only have a few seconds left. And Wadi, let me ask you, some compared this situation to what happened with David Petraeus. Does it make sense to compare the two?
Well, what I think that makes sense is if you look at the press conference, it was a 15-minute press conference where 14 minutes he completely laid out time after time how, the former Secretary of State did not comply with the laws that were set up for the State Department. And when we look at that, what doesn't make sense is the last 1 minute, the actual suggestion they had at the end. We believe that she put national security in danger. They also pointed out that she went abroad where there were hostile actors who could hack into the system, and that it was possibly hacked. So I'm not too worried about comparing the two. What I am worried about is that for 14 minutes they laid out how she was extremely careless.
For one quick point, Petraeus, there was clear intent. He turned over those black books to his publisher, which contained classified information. It's a lot more obvious.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kim.
I appreciate your perspective.